Well, 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 look who's finally watching. You thought this was just whispers, rumors, shadows in the dark? No, darling, this isn't a secret anymore. It's live. No edits, no filters, no more polite lies slipped behind velvet curtains. This is raw. This is loud. This is the truth breaking out of its chains and storming the stage. For so long they counted on your silence. They thought you'd keep swallowing the poison with a smile. They thought you'd keep bowing to their little performances, clapping at their cheap theatrics while they stabbed from behind. But the curtain has dropped. The lights are on, and here you are, center stage. This isn't their episode anymore. It's yours. And it's not suspense. It's a meltdown, a reckoning, a beautifully public collapse that not even their best lies can cover up. They wanted control, but what they got was exposure. And exposure, baby, doesn't whisper. It roars. They thought the secret would stay buried forever, wrapped in fake smiles, sealed behind polished doors, hidden under rehearsed concern. They dressed betrayal in the costume of friendship, tied deception with bows of flattery, and called it loyalty. But secrets don't age well. They rot, they leak, and when they finally explode, it's never quiet. You saw it. The contracts disguised as compassion, the knives tucked neatly behind backslaps and handshakes, the way they said, "Trust me," with voices dripping in manipulation. For a while, they convinced themselves you didn't notice, that you'd stay blinded by their staged sympathy. But the truth doesn't vanish. It waits. And the longer it waits, the louder it grows. Until one day it bursts through the cracks, shattering every mask in the room. That's today. That's right now. The secret they swore would never surface is headline news, and everyone can see it. And oh, they feel it. They thought they owned the stage. They thought you'd keep dancing on command, smiling on cue, bowing when told. To them, you were a puppet, and they pulled the strings with smug little grins. But puppets only dance until they realize the strings are just threads. And threads? They snap. One by one, you cut them. You tore through their script, ripped out every page they tried to hand you, and tossed it in the fire. No longer their character, no longer their pawn. In one move, you flipped the narrative. You stopped acting in their cheap production and became the plot twist they never rehearsed for. And now they're scrambling because the show doesn't run without you. The moment you walked off their stage, the lights flickered, the lines crumbled, and the audience started asking questions. You didn't just leave their play, you built your own. Bigger, louder, untouchable. They called it control. You called it captivity. And when you cut the strings, you didn't just walk free. You rewrote the entire show. Look at them now, twitching, stuttering, scrambling behind curtains that don't exist anymore. The stage lights are on, the cameras are rolling, and suddenly the actors don't remember their lines. Their polished grins are melting, dripping like candle wax under a heat they can't escape. They thought you'd keep quiet, keep playing along, keep covering for them. But silence was never surrender, it was strategy. And now that you've spoken without saying a word, their fear is written all over their faces. They're choking on their own script. It's not rage they fear. Rage is predictable. They fear calm. They fear presence. They fear the way you can stand there, steady and unshaken, while their empire collapses in real time. Because calm isn't weakness, it's exposure. And exposure doesn't scream, it shines. They used to own the room. Now they can't even own their own reflection. That's fear, not the kind that hides in shadows, but the kind that's broadcast live for everyone to see. You didn't need to scream. You didn't need to plot revenge. You didn't need to throw a single punch. All you had to do was exist in truth. And that was enough to set the stage on fire. They built their empire on illusion, on smoke and mirrors, on carefully edited lies. But the truth doesn't need special effects. It walks in bare, unpolished, undeniable. And when it does, their whole production collapses. Because truth isn't fragile, it's radioactive. It doesn't whisper, it detonates. Your presence became the siren in their static, the glitch in their broadcast, the echo they can't silence. They tried to label you unstable, but all they really did was expose how shaky they were. You didn't destroy them, they destroyed themselves the moment reality hit the airwaves. And here's the cruel beauty of it. Truth doesn't chase, it waits. And when it arrives, it doesn't argue, it simply shows. And once it shows, no one can unsee it. The collapse doesn't happen with fireworks, it happens with cracks. Tiny at first, then unstoppable. Their empire of lies is splintering, walls crumbling, masks slipping. Every excuse sounds thinner. Every performance looks faker. And the audience is finally awake. They can't hide behind smoke anymore. They can't distract with glitter and noise. The curtains are gone, the stage is bare, and their illusion is collapsing live in front of everyone. Their carefully polished reputations are evaporating faster than they can spin new stories. You don't even need to touch the ruins. They're doing the work themselves. Every stumble, every nervous glance, every forced smile screams louder than any accusation, because the truth doesn't need a narrator. It exposes itself. And now the empire they swore was indestructible is rubble. Their illusion didn't just fade, it shattered. And you're still standing, steady, unshaken, watching their downfall like it's opening night. They thought you'd break under the weight. They thought the silence would crush you, the secrets would poison you, the betrayal would bury you, but instead of breaking, you transformed. Every lie they told became fuel. Every knife in your back became armor. Every attempt to erase you became proof that you couldn't be erased. You didn't just walk through the fire, you carried it out with you, burning brighter than before. The old version of you, gone. The one who stayed quiet to keep the peace, who bent to make others comfortable, who apologized for simply existing, that chapter is closed. Now you move differently, not out of anger, but out of clarity, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. You didn't just survive the exposure, you became it. You are the broadcast now, the frequency that can't be silenced, the signal that cuts through every lie. They thought they were watching your end, but really they were watching your evolution. And now comes the part they never prepared for, the reckoning. Not the kind with fire and fists, but the quiet kind. The kind where truth stands tall, unshaken, and their entire performance collapses under its weight. They branded you unstable to protect their own image. Called you dramatic so they wouldn't have to admit what they did in the dark. They spun stories, staged scenes, tried to sell your silence as guilt. But the truth has no interest in their spin. It just stands there, undeniable, and the spotlight burns them alive. Now they scramble behind locked doors, posting vague apologies, hiding behind empty words. They call it damage control, but it's just desperation, because deep down they know what you've always known. The show is over, the mask is off, and the world is watching. This isn't revenge, it's balance. It's the consequence of everything they tried to bury finally clawing its way into daylight. And the more they resist, the faster they unravel. And here we are, the new chapter. The secret is exposed. The masks are gone. The story is public, and there's no going back. They're done, and they feel it in every shaky breath, every nervous glance, every failed attempt to rewrite history. But you're not bitter. You're not broken. You're better, stronger, clearer. You're no longer asking for apologies that won't come or explanations that wouldn't matter. You've outgrown the need for closure because clarity is enough. This isn't revenge. This isn't rage. This is rebirth. You've stepped into a whole new chapter with a kind of power they can't comprehend. A power that doesn't scream, doesn't beg, doesn't bow. It simply is, and it terrifies them because it's proof that you didn't just survive. You rose. So let them spin. Let them whisper. Let them scramble. The truth is permanent now. The chapter they thought they controlled is over. And the one you're writing, it's only just beginning, because the secret is out. The stage is yours, and the next act, oh, that's going to be unforgettable.